Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm pleased to bring you this dance exercise video aimed at opening and creating flexibility through your hips to both improve your posture and improve your mobility as you're dancing. So as you're doing these exercises, if anything feels uncomfortable to you, or if you can't get into the posture quite the way I can, just be aware everyone's body is different. If something is painful, please just stop or sit it out and then jump back in when you feel a little bit better. But make sure you're not hurting yourself, so we want to go to the point where these exercises feel good and feel like you're opening, but not to the point where they're painful. So this first exercise, I like to call it star and horse, all right? So it's going to be aimed at creating flexibility through your hip joints as well as some strength in your thighs to support that flexibility. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you take a nice wide stance with your toes pointed slightly outwards towards the corner. I'm gonna have you inhale, stretch your arms up nice and high like a big star, and then on the exhale, I'm going to have you come into a deep squat. You can pull your elbows in here. So I want you to feel like you're getting as much of a crease into your hips here as you can, right? Inhale through star, and exhale into horse. Inhale, star, exhale, horse. Inhale, star, exhale, horse. Inhale, star, exhale, horse. We'll hold this one. I'm gonna do a couple pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, star. And exhale, release, shake yourself out. You can always leave out the pulses if those are difficult. So that hopefully you felt a nice opening for your hips here. So this next exercise is a stretch for your hip flexors. So if you have tightness through the hip flexors, which are the muscles right here in the front of your hip, that can actually pull you into an arch position, which can impact your posture because you're just not able to extend here. So this is a really beneficial stretch to do for your posture and also just for your general health, especially for those of us that tend to sit a lot during the day at desks. These muscles can get quite tight, so it's important to release them from time to time. So for this exercise, again, if your floor is hard, I'd recommend using a yoga mat. And the chair is optional. I just have it here to provide a little bit of extra stability if you would like. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you start in a kneeling position, all right, and then I'm gonna have you just extend your right foot forward so that you've got your knee stacked over your ankle. All right, I'm gonna touch the chair here for a little bit of support, or you can place your hands over your knee. Then I'm gonna tuck my back toes and I'm just going to extend my back leg into a nice deep lunge here. So there's a couple different adjustments you can make to try and make it feel good for you. You can bend your back knee a little bit to drop your pelvis into a more neutral position, and you should hopefully feel a nice opening here through the front of the hip. All right. You also have the option to drop this knee all the way down, extend your toe, and you can stretch your hands up nice and high for what's called crescent lunge, and that can also create a little bit of additional length through the front of the hip. All right. So just stay on your basic initial lunge if that felt good. Or if you want to try out the other variations, find where you feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip, but it's not painful. The last option that you can do, if you would like, is you can actually bend your back knee and you can do a quad stretch. So that's pretty advanced, it's pretty intense. I don't recommend that if your hips are super tight, but if you're pretty loose, that's a fun option as well. And we'll just take a few deep breaths and hold it. I'll come back to the initial lunge, and we'll hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're going to gently release your knee back down. Bring your feet back, and that's our first side. All right, so we'll repeat it on the other side. I'll move my chair here. All right, so same thing here. We're standing on our knees. I want you to extend your left leg forward this time, knees stacked over heel. All right, you can grab your chair for some stability. Tuck your back toe, and then just extend your back right leg into a lunge. So again, here are a few things to watch out for. You want to try and make sure that your hips are pretty even. You don't want your right hip opening back. Try and keep your hip bones pretty level. You can soften your back knee a little bit to bring your pelvis into a more neutral position so you don't end up in an arch. Yeah. All right. You can have your hands on your knee if that's more comfortable for you. Go as deep as you can. Feel good without just dumping into your joint. Yeah, you don't want to dump into the joint and overstretch it. And then we're going to go into our crescent lunge here. So back knee comes down. Extending the arms up, feeling a nice stretch in the front of the hip. And if you'd like to do the advanced variation, you can go ahead and reach back, and you can bend your back knee and get a little bit of an additional quad stretch here. Breathing into it. And now we're coming back to our crescent lunge, and we'll hold this one for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gently release your knee back down. Bring your hands to the mat. Walk your knee back. Good job. So for this exercise, we're going to be stretching our outer thigh, which can get very tight as we walk and run and dance. So it's important to loosen that up to prevent injuries. And we're also going to incorporate a little bit of ab strength, which is also important for posture. So if you have a yoga mat, I'd like you to lie down on your mat. Your feet are going to be bent about hips width apart. And then I'm going to have you bend your right knee, flex your right foot, and cross it over your left knee. Okay? So this is a figure 4 stretch. We're just going to hold this stretch for a minute. Some of you may be feeling a nice stretch on the outer part of the right thigh right now. If you don't feel a stretch, you can go ahead and lift up your left leg, and then you can put your hands behind your left thigh. Or if you're super flexible, you can grab behind your knee. So the goal is to get a pretty intense stretch on the back of the right thigh here. All right, so we'll just hold that and breathe for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you've raised up your knee, I want you to gently lower the left leg back to the ground. I want you to interlace your hands behind your head, and we're just going to take a couple crunches here. So inhale, and on the exhale, pulls up. 1 and down. 2, down. Exhale, 3, down. Exhale, 4, down. Exhale, 5, down. Exhale, 6, and down. Exhale, 7, and down. Exhale, 8, and down. Exhale, 9, and down. Exhale, 10, and down. And don't worry about it if you can't fit in all those reps. Just do as many as good for your body. All right, and we'll switch sides here. So right leg comes down, left leg crosses over the top. And we're just going to do our figure 4 stretch on the other side. So if you're comfortable here and you're getting a good stretch on the outside of your left thigh, feel free to stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, you can flex your right foot and lift your right leg, interlacing the hands behind the thigh or behind the knee, whatever feels good to you, or you can just return to your base. Just breathing in here for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to add in the crunches. Interlace the hands behind your head. Inhale, and on an exhale, pulse up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And relax, take a nice big long stretch, and release. Great job, guys. So the final exercise here is a stretch that's going to get your outer hips, your hamstrings, and your quads. And it's going to also help just opening your hips for your posture, as well as releasing any tension in your joints to help with your dancing and your overall health. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you sit down on your yoga mat. You're going to extend your left leg out towards the corner of the mat, and you're going to bring your right foot into the inside of your left thigh, wherever it can comfortably go. If it's a little bit lower or a little bit higher, just find the spot that's right for you. All right? Then inhale your arms up. You're going to rotate towards your left leg, and you're just going to hinge forward over the leg. So if this is all the further you can go, that's fine. If you don't feel much here, you're going to just gently walk your hands forward, and you can grab your foot if you'd like. Take a few deep breaths. And exhale. Eventually you'll be able to get your nose to your knee. Again, I've been doing yoga and dance for years, so if you can't get there, don't worry about it. Feel free to back off. Try and keep a nice long spine and just get the best stretch for you. So hopefully you're feeling a stretch on your little bit in your left hamstring through the outer right thigh. And I actually feel my calves as well if I grab my foot and flex my feet. So that's also a nice little benefit here. And we're going to just hold this for another count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking nice deep breaths. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release. 7, 8, 9, 10. And gently walk back up. And we'll do the other side. So swapping our legs out, extending the right leg towards the corner of the mat, left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale the arms up, turn towards your right leg, and exhale, fold forward. Again, just putting your hands where it's comfortable, trying to keep a long back and to the point where you need to round forward. And taking a nice inhales to lengthen the spine, And exhale, you can release deeper into the stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release for a count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then gently walk your hands back up. We'll come back to a comfortable seated position. All right, thank you guys, great job. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dance exercise video. If you liked this video, I encourage you to check out my posture video and also my dance exercise video for opening the upper spine.